In a quiet village surrounded by misty mountains and flowing rivers, there lived an elderly Zen master known for his peaceful demeanor and profound wisdom. His teachings were simple, yet they held the power to change the hearts of those who sought his guidance. One cold winter morning, a young man named Rio approached the Zen master. He was filled with inner turmoil, burdened by the pressures of life and consumed by thoughts of his personal struggles. He had been striving for success, wealth, and recognition, but still felt a void inside. Rio sat before the Zen master and expressed his frustrations. "Master," he said, "I have everything I thought would bring me happiness, good health, a decent job, and material comforts. But no matter what I do, I still feel empty. I am constantly looking for something more, but I can't find what I need. What is it that I am missing?" The Zen master listened quietly, his face calm and serene. After a long pause, he motioned for Rio to follow him. They walked through the village, down a narrow path that led to a river. At the riverbank, the master pointed to a small wooden bucket and handed it to Rio. "Take this bucket," the Zen master said, "and fill it with water from the river. Then bring the water to those who are in need in the village." Rio took the bucket and hurriedly filled it with water, eager to complete the task. He wasn't sure how this would help his situation, but he hoped the Zen master's instructions would lead to some kind of answer. As he made his way back into the village, Rio was surprised when the master asked him to give the water to the people who needed it most: families who had no access to clean drinking water, elderly villagers who needed help with chores, and children who were struggling in their studies. At first, Rio hesitated. He was not used to giving his time or resources so freely. After all, he had his own problems to deal with. But the Zen master insisted, and Rio reluctantly agreed. The young man spent the next few hours helping the villagers, offering the water and assisting where he could. As he did, something remarkable began to happen. With each person he helped, he noticed a shift within himself. The exhaustion that had once weighed heavily on his shoulders began to lift. His thoughts, which had been consumed with his own worries, slowly quieted. The more he gave, the more he began to experience a sense of peace he had never known before. For the first time in a long while, he felt connected to others, and his heart was filled with a warmth that seemed to expand with every act of kindness. By the time he returned to the Zen master, Rio's heart was lighter, his mind clearer. "Master," he said, "I don't understand. I thought I was helping others, but it feels like I've received more than I could ever give. How is this possible?" The Zen master smiled gently, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "You have discovered the secret, my young friend," he said. "Helping others doesn't just benefit those you serve. It enriches your own life in ways that you can't measure with material success or fleeting achievements. When you focus solely on yourself, you become isolated, driven by a never-ending desire for more. But when you extend your heart to others, you open the door to true fulfillment. The more you give, the more you receive in return, not in material wealth, but in peace, joy, and a deeper connection with life." Rio was silent for a moment, reflecting on the master's words. He began to understand. In his pursuit of personal gain, he had forgotten the importance of compassion and community. By helping others, he had rediscovered the essence of what it means to be human. His selfish desires faded as he realized that true happiness comes not from accumulation, but from giving and sharing with those around us. The Zen master continued, "When you help others, you enter a cycle of giving and receiving that is not bound by time or money. It is the natural flow of life itself. Each time you help someone, whether it's with a small gesture or a larger act of service, you are also nourishing your own soul. The happiness you experience from making a difference in someone's life is a kind of wealth that no one can take away from you. It is not measured in possessions, but in the richness of your heart." As Ryo left the Zen master's presence, he felt a new sense of clarity and purpose. He understood now that the more he helped others, the more his own life would be enriched. It wasn't about the material things he could acquire or the recognition he could gain. It was about the connections he formed, the love he shared, and the joy he spread through simple acts of kindness. From that day forward, Rio made a promise to himself. He would no longer chase after hollow desires, but instead dedicate himself to helping those in need. And in doing so, he would find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment than he had ever imagined. The lesson from this Zen story is timeless. Helping others doesn't just bring relief to those in need, it transforms us in profound ways. When we open our hearts to others, we invite a flow of kindness, gratitude, and joy into our lives. The more we give, the richer our own lives become. True enrichment lies not in what we accumulate, but in how we make a positive difference in the world around us. In helping others, we help ourselves discover the deeper meaning of life, and through that process, we find the true happiness that comes from living with compassion, love, and connection.